All right, quickly before we start, over 85% of you guys are not subscribed, which is quite a bit. So if you guys could subscribe, it does help the channel a ton. You can always unsubscribe, but subscribing really does help the channel. But yeah, that's basically gonna be it. Let's get into the video. All right, guys, I'm back. In this video, I'm gonna go over the top 3 things that get players in Tarkov killed. So these things aren't gonna be like crazy, game-changing things, but especially to new players, I think watching this video and implementing these tips can really help you. If you're a more experienced player, these might not be as valuable to you just because they are things that you learn with time. But I think as a new player, if you implement these ideas and actively try to use them in your game, it can accelerate your progress and just get you much more experienced and essentially hopefully help you die much less in the game. But yeah, that's basically gonna be it. But yeah, let's get into the video. All right, starting us off on the list is gonna be holding angles for too long, just staying in the same position. So Tarkov is definitely a very methodical game, and it's very different from something like Call of Duty, where it's all about like running as quick as you can, right? Tarkov's like almost the opposite, right? You want to play smart and have like a good plan of what you're gonna do. But with that mindset, you also have to be careful that you're not overdoing it. So, like, I'm on factory here, just for example, in this spot, coming down in the main area, I've seen people like sit here with a gun and just hold this angle forever and just wait for someone to come out. And maybe they come out and maybe they're able to shoot them, but then they have someone coming out here. They have someone coming out here. They have, people coming out from the sky bridge over here. There's someone could come up the stairs. Someone could come up this whole metal ramp, shoot them from below, right? Someone goes in this door and then now they're over here. And there's so many different ways that you can get killed if you stay in the same position. Now, along with that, if you're holding an angle right here and just holding it forever, if someone is here and they play smart and then like mess with you, right? Close the door, open the door, and they're playing fast, and they can get out here and get a shot off because they maybe have a better ping and a better network connection. That maybe like since they're moving around, they see you before you see them, and then you die. Like especially if you're holding an angle just stationary and someone's moving in and out, they're like likely gonna have a better chance. So if they run across, get a peek at you, and then peek out and just tap you right there. If they have good aim, you could die before you even see them on your screen. Now, instead of doing that, you could very easily, hold an angle here. It is fine to hold an angle, and I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying be conscious of where or how long you're holding an angle and all the points to where you die. I think a lot of people, a lot of newer players often die because they're holding an angle or they're waiting for somebody and they're waiting for something, but they don't realize that there's more players in the game and there's more like scavs or PMCs that can actually kill them. So you can hold this and then move down here and then go through bathroom over here and come up behind them, toss a nade, maybe make them think you're going that way, and then come up here, and then move out here and go across this. This is just an example on factory because I'm just on this map. On every single map, there's multiple ways to get around and move around, and you want to keep your opponent guessing. Basically, overall, you don't want to stay in the same position for too long, and you want to be conscious of exactly everywhere that you can be attacked from. All right, the next reason you're dying often in Tarkov is going to be where you're aiming. Now, I've covered this before, but Tarkov is one of quite a few games that value certain body parts being more valuable. Of course, if you can shoot them in the head if they're not wearing a headgear, that's going to be the best. But just like the head is valued more than the feet, and if you can get a clean shot in the head, it's more worth it. Unlike come bring up Call of Duty again because it's just a common game that a lot of people know. You're trying to gun the person down no matter what. In Tarkov, you really want to think about where you're shooting them and exactly your bullet penetration and your bullet damage. Now, this may seem complicated to newer players, but knowing your bullet penetration and your bullet damage just overall is something you really want to take into consideration when you're firing. So if your bullet is shooting or has higher damage, maybe and lower penetration, maybe try and shoot them in the legs where there's not as much armor. But if it has high penetration and maybe less damage, then try and go for a headshot or more of the upper body if you can, because that's where the armor is. But if it has higher damage, shoot where there's no armor, right? Which is like most commonly in the legs. So you kind of got to figure that out. And once you figure that out, take into consideration exactly where you're trying to shoot. So most common, if you're a new player and you maybe don't want to get invested in all that, commonly you want to just try and shoot for the head. So imagine if I'm over here and I'm coming in, right? If someone is in this room and they're holding an angle on me, most likely they're going to be waiting here for me. Now, if I run in this room with my gun down or something and then I just start shooting at them, I'm probably going to be already dead. Now, if instead I go in the room and I have my gun up and then they're right there and then I can tap them in the head. Now, if I'm walking in the room like this, like it may be hard to comprehend this while watching a video, but imagine how many people just walk in a room like this where they think their gun is up, but look at that. What is that going to be? That's going to be low chest to the stomach area, versus if you actually aim at head level. That's probably where head level is, right? If I run over here, it might even be below it. That's probably where head level is. And then if I run in here and I think I have my gun up, look, that's not where the head is. The head's going to be up here, right? So you really got to take into consideration exactly where the head is going to be, and you kind of want to figure out, the head, or maybe you're trying to shoot the feet. Just you want to take it into consideration exactly where you want the bullets to go, and that can be done doing different things. You can kind of tell if you're close to a door, it's the head's going to be somewhere around here. So when I peek out here, I'm going to be aiming here. Of course, for this one, it's a little bit higher, right? So the head's going to be right here. So if you're running down this hall and you think your gun's up like this, but the head, this would seem like a good angle to have your gun up, the head's all the way up here. That's where you need to be shooting. So it's very important to be conscious of exactly where you're aiming your weapon, and not just not just shooting the player, but instead trying to take a methodical approach and actually aim for vital parts, because a few bullets can be the decision between life or death. And I think a lot of new players just try and fire their gun off as quick as possible, and that often gets them killed. Okay, and the last tip is going to be knowing the maps. Now, this is going to be a common one, and some of you might click off the video because of it, because it's I already know the maps. But it's more about knowing every single possible scenario and every single possible way that you could die, or you could get out of a situation, or you could move around, or where your opponent could go. Just knowing everything about it. So the position over here, factory is a pretty common map, and it's a very small map, especially since we haven't gotten the expansion yet. But just as an example, imagine if you have an enemy, or if your opponent is standing right here and you're down the hallway, or you're in this room trying to hold an angle. Now you think your opponent's here. He can run down here, go out this door, keep going downstairs, go to the bathroom. He could turn around, run this way, down the stairs, go this way, once again back in there, even go there, wrap all the way around. He had run across this thing. It's just there is so many there's so many areas that your opponent can go. So you really have to be mindful, and you have to know everything. Now, this includes knowing everything and also being familiar with the sounds that each thing make. So I don't know exactly how well this is going to come up on the video, but if you go into factory, run it, try and run across this. I'll be quiet while I do. All right, so yeah, once again, I don't know how well that's going to sound in the video, but please try it yourself. I actually highly encourage it. That is gonna sound you can hear the metal sounds, and it's quite loud. Similarly, if you run across this, it's going to be making a similar metal sound, but it's going to be different as well. So you can tell, if your opponent disappears from here, you can tell if he's running on this, or if he instead decides to go this way. Those are distinct sounds. And I fell off. those are very distinct sounds to which can help you know exactly where your opponent is going. Now, similarly, you can tell if someone's running across that to if your opponent ran down the stairs, or even if you go in here, the bathroom sound. Now, I don't know how well this is gonna come up on the YouTube video once again, but I would highly encourage it for you to try it. When you walk on this, and especially if you run, I actually fell off on top, so my legs are gone right now. But you can really hear the bathroom tile, and if you know, like, hey, he's going from this angle and he's running across the bathroom, you can then readjust your positioning to know exactly where to have your gun aimed, to know exactly where your opponent is going to come up. And I think that is one of the most vital things in this game. Tarkov has quite a few maps, and they are hard to learn at the beginning, but just I would recommend whichever way you find learning the maps is the easiest. I would recommend doing that and just getting familiar with all of the spots. And it's going to be difficult, but in general the maps are pretty simple. It's going to seem daunting, but just trust me, they're not super hard to learn, and I would recommend trying to figure out all the spots and just have a very good understanding. I don't know how much I can emphasize that is one of the most important things, and it will save you from dying so many times. Alright guys, that's basically going to be it. I just wanted to give my thoughts on what I think are the three things that get most players in Tarkov killed. Now, there are a ton of things that hold players back in Tarkov. That I think that's part of the beauty of the game. It's such a diverse game, and it is quite frankly very challenging. So I'm more than happy to make another video with more things that help new players. Just let me know and I will get on that. But yeah, I just think that that this is a good place to start, and I think this gives a general understanding to new players, just to help them accelerate their progress and get better at the game. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy, a like and a sub is greatly appreciated. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching.